There's a lot of buzz around AI video tools. If you're a marketer, a small business owner, a coach, a solopreneur, you might be a little bit overwhelmed with choices and technology. Today on Strategy Talks, we'll get to the heart of how to use AI video tools to streamline and simplify your social media marketing. If you're ready, come on and join us.
Let's strategize together. Let's hear it from an expert. Join the conversation, it's informative and free. You and me, let's talk some strategy. Here's your host, Dorien, Morin-van vanDam.
Hello, everybody. We're back with another episode of Strategy Talks. We're going to talk about AI tools today, which I am video tools. So I'm super excited. But before I introduce you to today's guest, I want to welcome everybody that's here with us live. If you're here live on Facebook or YouTube, or maybe you're watching this on LinkedIn, let us know where you're watching us from. And I want to make sure that if you're listening to Strategy Talks as a podcast, that you feel welcome as well. So without much further ado, here's today's guest. His name is Lou Bortone. He lives right next door in New Hampshire. I'm in Vermont. And we were just chatting about where we might meet up in real life this year. And one of our friends, Rich Brooks, has this wonderful social media conference, digital marketing conference called the Agents of Change in Portland, Maine. And if you live in New England and you are a marketer, don't miss that in October. Just a quick plug. Lou, welcome. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thanks, Dorien. I'm waving across the state line to you. So.
That is wonderful. So, Lou, you spent over 20 years in television before becoming a videopreneur, right? What sparked that shift to where it's a digital video landscape? And how has your experience shaped your approach to AI tools in video marketing?
It's funny because I grew up, my dad worked at a TV station. So I basically grew up in TV. It's all I ever wanted to do. And I did that in Boston and Los Angeles for many years. And I sort of got into the digital side by accident. It was during the .com boom. And people were throwing stupid money around, making crazy offers and things like that. So I got an offer to go to a .com here in New Hampshire. So I left my job in LA at the big, nice corner office and all those things for a little startup. And when that didn't pan out, like many .coms, when that bubble burst, I started just, doing video on YouTube and doing little local videos and things like that. And the stuff on YouTube was just absolutely blowing up. So I realized that, and this was like 2005, 2006, really, really early in the stages of YouTube. But I knew that okay, this is going to be more than just skateboarding cats and, rap videos and stuff like that. So, and the way that I sort of informs what I do now is I still think of everything as it's all just a screen. We may be watching YouTube, we may be watching a television, we may be watching a tablet, but it's all just entertainment on screens. And I know this from my 26-year-old twins. It's like they don't make any distinction between YouTube and Fox and their tablet and TikTok. It's all just stuff on a screen.
Which is a completely different conversation, but it's a little bit scary. I just was on a podcast as an interview as a parent of Gen Z, and I've got kids the same age as your daughters. And yeah, that's a little bit scary when they're getting their news from TikTok.
Exactly. and then, they can watch TikTok and be watching TV on television and have YouTube on another screen all at the same time. And my head is just exploding. So
I know, it's crazy. So, okay, you call yourself consigliere. I probably completely butchered that word, but it's the brightest names, right? In digital marketing. Can you share maybe a real life example of how AI video tools helped maybe a client or yourself achieve those kind of results? And how that worked. And please pronounce that word correctly for me.
Consigliere. I'm still working on it, and I'm
Consigliere.
Italian. It's
Okay.
like an Italian word for
All
counselor. It's
right.
like a fancy way of saying coach, right?
Okay. I
But
like
yeah,
it.
I've worked with a lot of clients, and the great thing about AI is that we can take a lot of their existing content and existing IP and repurpose it very easily in video form. So they don't have to spend a whole lot of time and effort creating new content. They can take their IP, their intellectual property, or the stuff that they've already done, and I help them with AI to repurpose that and use it in whole new ways, whole different ways, turning podcasts into videos, turning articles into videos, turning blog posts into videos. So that's one of the things that's happened with that, is that we've just been able to do more content more quickly.
Okay. So let me ask you, who are the people that
Mhm.
you work with that don't want to be on video? Because I have had several in the past, several
Mhm.
clients that I can think of. And, especially the further back I go, there's definitely
Right.
more and more people who don't want to be on video. And nowadays people kind of know they should be, but
Yeah.
there's still introverts and certain industries where people are like,
Mhm.
I just don't have time or I don't want to be. Who have you found is the most reluctant to be
Well,
on video where this AI thing would really work?
introverts like myself, I'm like the poster child for the person who doesn't want to be on camera. I spent, 20 years in the TV industry on the other side of the camera doing
Sure.
marketing and things like that. So I really didn't want to be on camera. And most introverts don't. And most folks, for whatever reason, especially some of the older generation, just are not like adept or don't want to do it. So the first thing I try to do is coax them into it and coach them into saying, it's not that bad. Just do a Facebook Live and, trust me, not that
Sure.
many people will see it.
No.
But if they really don't want to do video, it's great because they can do audio. If they want to do voice only, if they're doing a podcast, we can turn that into video, either with, video footage or just a thumbnail. We can take other things that they've done, and now with AI, I can record their voice and say, you don't even have to do it. Just give me the blog post and I'll put it in your voice. And because AI has gotten so good, it sounds like them reading their blog post. And then there are visuals on screen. So there's all kinds of little shortcuts and ways to basically, dip their toes in the water. And what they usually find is when they start doing more, maybe they start with AI, but then they realize, oh, you know what? I want to be on camera for this one. I think I need to be front and center. And that's the other thing I try to emphasize is that, especially if you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, maybe you've got a very small business, you are the face of that business. And at some point, it's going to behoove you to be on camera. And I like to tell my clients that your face on camera is your most powerful marketing asset.
I 100% agree. And I have found certain people just more reluctant than others, especially
Mhm.
those who are used to being in the background, even if they're leading a team.
Yeah.
But there are also certain industries it's a little bit harder. So I love that idea that you just said, especially if you're kind of limited by certain laws,
Mhm.
that you can't say certain things, right?
Right.
Can't advertise certain things. But if you have an approved blog post where you can read that blog post or you can
Right.
talk about that blog article, I like that idea a lot. And yeah, I agree. If you can get somebody, and I'm an organic specialist, Lou. So
Yeah.
everything I do is organic, it's content marketing. So
Mhm.
I know, even though I tell this to my client, there are clients who want all these graphics or they want all this and that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, no. Why don't we just put a picture of you up there and then
Mhm.
have a conversation with people? And the picture of them or them and their family or them and their child or them on the
Mhm.
weekend with their dog, it creates so much more conversation than a graphic that
Yeah.
has some
Yeah.
words on it. So I understand that, and the power. And if you're watching this, the power of a human face is really important. And even with
Mhm.
AI,
Yeah.
that can become that real human face. So let's go beyond that hype,
Sure.
right? There's a lot of buzz around AI video tools.
Mhm.
I have seen lots of my peers, social
Yeah.
media strategists, social media managers, social media digital marketers become AI experts, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So for our audience, right? You're watching, you're a marketer, you're a small business owner, you're a coach, you're solopreneur. We're
Mhm.
talking to you today, right? You might be new to video marketing. Can you kind of break down the difference between like regular video and recording and what
Mhm.
happens when you use an AI tool?
Right. Well, what I think with AI is that, and I've been a video editor for 25 years when it was back and you needed a ton of equipment and a ton of money, but AI has leveled the playing field to the point where if you can edit a Word document, you can edit a video. You can make yourself sound, as we say in Boston, wicked smart. We can sound a lot smarter because the AI tool just took out all your ums and ahs. It took out the mistake that you made or said back there. It took out the dog barking in the background. So it's just created a more seamless way to create video more quickly. And part of it too is like if somebody says, I don't like the way I sound on camera, I don't like my face on camera. Now, you can't do too much for that, but you can enhance the sound and again make the person sound a little bit more articulate with that editing because you can take out the ums and the ahs and the filler words.
And you're saying that anybody can learn this, even if they're not technically inclined, even if they don't have a lot of experience.
Hmm.
Um, I love what you just said. Can you explain a little bit more about text-based? If you can edit a Word
Sure.
doc, you can edit. I know probably what tool you're referring to because I use
Hmm.
the tool. Can you explain a little bit more how that works?
Yeah, and the tool that I like and the one that you're probably using is
Yes.
descript.com, and which started sort of as a podcast editing tool. But when they introduced the fact that you insert a Word document or text, and you can edit the text, and whatever changes you make to the text are reflected in the video, that changed the game for video editing because video editing used to be all about timelines and chopping and cutting and pretty technical stuff. Whereas now it's like, oh, I can just edit this Word document and take out this line, and it will take it out of my video. So it's again just kind of leveled the playing field in terms of video for editing. So it's just made it a lot, and the learning curve is not very steep. Again, you're editing a text, you're not editing a timeline, so it's a big difference.
Yeah. So for those of you watching, if you've never seen Descript in action, you literally can upload a 30-minute video like what we're recording today, right?
Hmm.
And put it in Descript. It'll take a little bit to upload. The transcript will happen. So you
Yeah.
upload the video, it'll make a transcript, and then you highlight the
Hmm.
pieces that you want or the pieces that you want to take out, and it clips it. It is amazing. It's absolutely crazy. And if I can do it, you can do it, right? Okay. So, one of the big promises of AI video tools is
Hmm.
speeding up that video creation process, not just
Yeah.
editing, but the video creation. Can you
Right.
walk us through like a realistic workflow of
Sure.
incorporating the AI tools? Is it really
Hmm.
script to screen in minutes, or are there some human touches that we need, some things that we might
Hmm.
need to know?
It is, and again, it depends on the kind of video you're trying to make. I mean, I make a distinction between quick videos and keeper videos. Quick videos, live videos, Facebook Live, stuff you're doing on the fly, maybe from your phone.
Sure.
Keeper videos, your homepage video, your about video. Obviously, those are going to have a little bit more shelf life. But most videos are quick videos, and now they can be even quicker with AI because let's say you have an audio only podcast. I have a client that has one of those. I take her audio only, I put it into script. Now I've got a transcript that I can give her. I can add a thumbnail or graphics or whatever. So now there's an image. So now it's not just an audio, it's a video. And I've enhanced the sound because her dogs were barking in the background and we took care of that. And these are all sort of like one-click fixes. Even with, they have a green screen function where no matter what your background is, if you don't have an actual green screen, you click on the green screen function and you can remove that person's background and add a new background. So those kinds of things that used to take a really long time with Final Cut Pro or some other software are literally one-click fixes now.
That's amazing. Now, if you were to create something new, do you feel like, especially with AI and all the edits we can do, that
Hmm.
people still need scripts or do they just need a
Hmm.
title? Do they just need like, hey, client, talk about the 5 ways to do XYZ and you got it? Or are
Yeah.
you like, you need a script? Here's your
Hmm.
script. I'm going to use AI, right?
Yeah.
To create the script. How do you work on that?
It really depends on the individual because some people are more comfortable with the words on the screen in
Okay.
front of them. I've always just been like, I'd rather just sort of shoot from the hip and be more conversational and more natural. And I find that most people are better when they're just talking off the top of their head. And, obviously they're experts in their field, so they can do that without a script. So I encourage my clients to throw the script away and just talk about what they care about and get their message out there. Because I think the script is just one more thing they think they have to memorize or one more thing they have to pay attention to, and then they lose some of the authenticity that they may have.
Right.
I'd rather
Okay.
see
So
like something that's a little sloppy but authentic.
I 100% agree. So we're about halfway in 2024. And
Hmm.
I'm just throwing this question out there. It's not on my list.
Yeah.
What's working right now? Short form video, because AI marketing, video
Hmm.
marketing, I'm thinking shorts, I'm thinking reels, I'm
Yeah.
thinking TikToks, right?
Hmm.
What's working right now? What have you seen your clients, those
Yeah.
around you, and yourself have success? What format, what length? What are we
Hmm.
looking at? What's
Just
working?
a lot of great things are working and happening, which is cool because we can take, again, if we take that podcast example and we're using the script to not only turn it into a video, but I'm also pulling a 60-second clip and making it vertical so it'll work for Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, which are getting a lot of traction these days. And the great thing about YouTube Shorts is they're being shown to more people, not just your subscribers on YouTube. So you've sort of got a bigger pool to pull from. So YouTube Shorts are a huge opportunity. And when you put that short up there, you can link it back to the longer podcast episode or another video. So you're trying to keep people on your channel as long as possible. And that's sort of like, okay, this is short and sweet. I can go through a bunch of these, while I'm in line at the grocery store.
Okay, so actually have a technical question. So I've done that, right? I
Hmm.
cut these strategy talks episodes.
Yeah.
I was telling you in the green rooms, I used to cut 3 or 4. Now I might cut 10 or 15, right?
Yeah.
It's easy with Descript. It's a lot easier.
Hmm.
So, and I do link it back to the original video because this is live right now on
Yeah.
YouTube. How does that for the user? I've never even thought to think about what the user experience is. Do you know
Hmm.
if I watch a short, does it then
Hmm.
give me the option to watch the long video?
Yeah, like at the, there's an end screen that will point you to that. And again,
Okay.
it's better if you know, like, okay, I know this is going to be YouTube short, so I'm going to make sure I say watch the next one or swipe right or whatever, whatever the
Yeah.
kids call it now. But yeah, I mean, you're trying to create a seamless viewer experience so that they're just sort of naturally following a progression that you just want them to stay with you. Like, okay, if you like this, you'll love the longer episode.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, a major concern with AI generated content is that
Hmm.
it can feel impersonal.
Yeah.
I have several friends who have created their AI avatar.
Hmm.
They're feeding it information. It's creating. You can't change outfits. I've already figured that one out. For men, maybe that's fine. For women, it
Yeah.
might be a little more, problematic.
Hmm.
So, how can businesses and business owners, entrepreneurs leverage AI video tools while still maintaining that brand
Hmm.
voice and
Right.
personality and, to connect to their audience in an authentic way?
Yeah, that's really the $1,000,000 question with AI, because again, as somebody who says, if you are the face of your brand, yeah, you can clone that face, but it's still not you, and the technology's not quite there enough to fool folks. So I'm not a huge fan of AI avatars, especially the ones where it say, oh, here's good looking football jock, beautiful guy, to tell you a message. It's like, well, he's got nothing to do with my brand. I'm my brand, and, warts and all, I'd rather have that. I mean, there are times when, like, if I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to be, I don't know, I got COVID and I'm going to be in isolation for a week, maybe I'd use my clone version to put a few things out there. But for the most part, I still, want it to be the face of the brand. And, there are plenty of ways to use AI without having to use AI avatars or AI clones.
Do you think people are smart enough to recognize? Because we're marketers, Lou. You
Mhm.
and I are marketers.
Yeah, that's true.
We recognize it right away. I mean, I see it. It took me 2 turns, and I saw the same friend, in the same outfit in a different video, and he
Mhm.
looked a little bit like robotic. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's an AI. But do you think that the public knows? Do you think their clients know? Like, how smart are we right now? Can we
Yeah, I
all
don't know.
detect it?
It's hard to say. I think people are a little bit cynical. I mean, now YouTube has a box where it says, "Was there any AI in here?" So YouTube wants to know if it was AI generated. So I think
Yeah.
we're going to see more and more of that. And Facebook has a little watermark now where they say, "Oh
Yes.
yeah, this is AI generated." So I think people are going to be a little skeptical of it. But I think if you're upfront and you say, "Dude, I'm going on vacation. My bot's going to do my stuff this week," and it's still again, if the content came from you, then it's still
Right.
your content.
I just wonder if you could have fun with it. It's like
Yeah.
there's my alter persona or my, alter ego, and she's gonna just teach you all about, this is I mean, I haven't really tapped into that, but
Mhm,
I came back last month. I was in the UK and I went to Tube Fest and
mhm,
talked to a lot of really smart marketers that were talking about using the power of the AI avatar in
mhm.
creating just a ton of content.
Right.
Basically, you can feed them any blog articles you've done, anything you've written, any
Mhm.
tips, anything, and make an
Yeah,
avatar out of it, make the avatar say that stuff and create videos. And I was like, that's a batching process that
yeah,
it's hard to wrap my head around.
yeah, and there's
Um,
definitely gonna be creative uses for it, I think. Maybe it's the bot that you normally get in the lower right corner of a website if you have a question, and now it's you actually answering that question.
hmm,
And
okay.
maybe it's your bot answering the question, but it's still you providing the content. So I think there's going to be some places where it's more useful than others. I've just sort of had a reaction like, no, you're the brand. It has to be your face. I try to get my clients to put themselves on camera because that's the one thing that you have that nobody else has is your face and your voice.
Right. Your face, your voice, and your thought leadership. So I totally agree with that. So where are AI video tools headed in the next few years?
Hmm.
What's your take on that? I don't always ask my
Yeah.
guests to, predict a future, but
Hmm.
how can somebody prepare? What should they have? What's the minimal tool? We're talking
Right.
about video editing, but what are some, this is a good time for you to mention maybe a couple other tools that you use, or what
Hmm.
do you see coming and where
Yeah.
do you see we're headed? Because I think people are just really
Yeah.
curious.
And I think there's also some AI overwhelm because there's like 6 new tools a day, and I'm trying to keep up with it, and I can't. So I think what you want to
100%.
do is find the 2 or 3 tools that are going to really help your workflow in terms of productivity and efficiency. So usually, if I have something, I might run it through ChatGPT just to see what it gives me, or to Claude and see. So I usually start with the sort of basics, like, well, let's see what ChatGPT has to say about it. But I try to focus in on those 2 or 3 tools like Descript that I know are just going to help my workflow. And they're moving so quick that they're only getting better. So, now at the point with Descript, they've got AI in Descript, which will create a YouTube description for you based on the video that you just fed it. So now I'm not even going back to ChatGPT as much. So I think there are more tools, but you'll probably use fewer of them.
All right. So then the follow-up question to that is, if we're all using the same tools, all using the same AI, is our
Mhm.
content going to start looking the same? Is that a worry on your end?
I think it could be a concern because there might be sort of workflows like, like YouTube used to sort of have this format like, okay, crazy beginning, normal ending, but I think as long as you remain creative and authentic and you continue to use your voice, your message, I think it'll be okay. So, I mean, I'm always afraid that, oh, I'm doing podcasts and I'm turning into videos. They're all going to look the same. It's like, well, if the core content isn't the same, then it will still be different enough to be engaging.
Yeah, I love that we actually brought up the word being creative when we're talking about AI video
Yeah.
marketing tools, because we finally got there. We're at minute 24 and we talk about being creative.
Finally, yes.
So, how can somebody stand out with all those tools? This is one of the last questions. I've got one more after this, but
Hmm.
how can we keep that creativity alive when
Yeah.
there is the AI, when we are relying on the bots, when we are
Hmm.
expected to do more in less time? We're
Yeah.
cutting out a lot of tasks, we're batching things. We can
Hmm.
just produce either a lot more content or work less and less
Yeah.
hard to create the same amount of content.
Right.
Where does creativity fit in?
I think it's paramount. I mean, it's the most important thing, and we probably should have started with it instead of ended with it.
It's
But
okay.
again,
It's all
with,
right. We're
with
good.
any of these tools, you still have to have good content. I mean, the greatest video in the world doesn't matter if the content kind of sucks. So, you have to start with your voice and your creativity. And I do like a lot of crazy things. I put my pugs in videos. My Catholic mom is rolling over in her grave, but I put on a priest outfit and did confessions of video. I mean, I used AI for it, but the idea didn't come from AI. The idea is like, it's still that creativity and that little flourish of how can I use ChatGPT or Descript in a way that nobody else is using it yet.
I love that. So what you're saying, the tip that you're giving us, play with the tools, use your creativity, not just in the video creation part, but also in the ideas and in using the tools. Be creative in how
Yeah.
you use the tools and how you create stuff. I know one of the tools that I use is CapCut, and there's
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of pre-made templates, and I'm just
Mhm.
always amazed at what people put together. And it certainly is a shortcut for me to
Yeah.
create some quick reels, some quick shorts that I don't have to do anything. I just upload my little video here and my little video
Mhm.
there, and I play it. I'm like, it looks amazing, right?
Yeah.
So, but if everybody does that and uses the same tool, my worry is that we all start looking the same. They've heard the sound before, they've seen the transition before,
Yeah.
and it's going to be content overload. So,
Right.
if you're watching, if you're still here with us today, be sure that Creative Mind comes up with creative ways to create videos that stand out, that are different, even if you use AI tools to edit, to create, and to publish. So, Lou, I have one more question.
Sure.
With all the experience that you have, what have you seen is the most common video marketing mistake that you see businesses make,
Mhm.
and how can somebody who's watching not make that mistake using AI potentially?
Yes, the biggest mistake is not being consistent, or one and done video. Like, oh, I tried the script, but I only got 17 views. It's like, no, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You have to be consistent. You have to post weekly or several times a week. And the good news is AI makes that possible and much easier.
All right. So, because if you're using AI, you can create a lot more content faster. And okay, that's an awesome answer. I love that. So, watching this, be consistent. It's one of the reasons why this show is live every single week, because we want to be consistent. I then create little shorts that go on YouTube, and then they go on LinkedIn. They go different places. You might have seen shorts other places. Lou, we are
Yeah.
at the end. Where can people meet you, connect with you, learn from you? I know you're going to be at the Agents of Change in October if they
Mhm.
want to see you live, hear you live. But where can they connect with you in the meantime to get to know you and what you do?
I'm Lou Bortone on all the socials, and my website is loubortone.com.
All right, that is super simple. Is there any last words that you want to leave somebody with that is sitting here going, "I'm ready, but I'm scared"?
Yeah, it's like,
what is the piece of advice that you can give somebody?
aside from stealing the Nike slogan and saying just do it, it's like, yes, just push yourself just enough to get over the edge to try it, because it's not that scary.
It's not that scary.
And get it off the
Okay.
hard drive. I know so many people who do videos and they're just like, well, you didn't put it anywhere, so you didn't really do it. So
Okay. All right. That's a good thing. All right. Thank you so much for being with me today. All of those of you who were here with us live, thank you for being here live. If you're listening to this as a podcast, I appreciate you listening. I'll be back next week with another episode of Strategy Talks. And for now, we'll say goodbye. Bye, everybody.